Cardboard Wars is part of the Rippin' Podcast Network. Today on Cardboard Wars, your hosts Ben Ripping and Kevin Rips jump into the iconic legacy of Tiger Woods. They explore Woods' early rise, his game-changing impact on golf, and his influence on golf card collecting. From his transformative Tiger effect on the sport to the enduring value of his collectible cards, there is no denying Tiger's historical significance as a global icon. So sit back and enjoy this episode of Cardboard Wars.
We're visiting Cypress, California. There's a child who hasn't even hit kindergarten. I mean, he's 2 years old, and he makes his first television appearance on the Mike Douglas Show, calmly putting beside none other than Bob Hope. His father, Earl Woods, would later declare that this boy is going to transcend the game. And although this little act seemed a little grandiose at the time, it turned out to be incredibly accurate about this young boy. Today, we are talking about golf cards, and specifically Tiger Woods. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cardboard Wars. I am Ben Ripping and joined today with my co-host, Kevin Rips. We are going to educate you about golf, sports cards, the card manufacturers that made them, and the legend that you all know, Tiger Woods. Kevin, tell us about this young boy.
First of all, what I want to know most of all, Ben, is do you think during this Mike Douglas show that little Tiger went and stood over Bob and said, "The price is wrong"?
Anyways, so bad, Kevin.
Thank you. I'll be here all week. Anyways, here we go. Back to Tiger. Tiger's upbringing revolved around discipline, focus, and repetition. Earl, his father, actually introduced him to visualization exercises like mental toughness training and a structured practice routine that shaped Tiger's mindset early on. I mean, by the age of 3, Ben, he was shooting a 48 over 9 holes. And by 8 years old, he was already winning junior tournaments. Those accomplishments suggested not just that this kid's talented, but this might actually be his destiny.
As a teenager, Tiger's results grew even more impressive. He won 3 consecutive U.S. Amateur championships from 1994 to 1996, a feat still unmatched today. At Stanford University, he captured the NCAA individual championship and built a match play record that positioned him as perhaps the greatest amateur golf player of all time.
Advantage Woods.
This is a good one.
Advantage Woods. And you can say that before Steve Scott even tees off.
He has hit a towering iron shot, but it is going a little left.
Yeah, to find the collection area, Raj. Watch it run right down to that sprinkler box there. Looks good. Great speed. It's in. Are you serious? Tiger. Unbelievable. I'll tell you, that's all I can say. I used to say that about Nicholas.
Another Tiger comeback completed. And with it, golf history. 3 straight U.S. Amateur Championships for Tiger.
Yeah, when Tiger turned pro in '96, he famously announced, "Hello, world. the golf community felt a shift. I mean, everybody could feel it. Within 2 months, he won 3 PGA Tour events. He obviously claimed Rookie of the Year honors, and he climbed to number 33 in the world rankings, despite having only played a few weeks on tour. Nike and Titleist invested tens of millions of dollars into endorsement deals because they recognized they were witnessing the start of something that was actually unprecedented at the time.
In 1997, Tiger delivered a performance that altered really the sport. At just 21 years old, he won the Masters, Kevin, get this, by 12 strokes, the largest margin of victory in tournament history. His combination of power, precision, and composure drew attention worldwide, and he brought countless new visitors and players into the world of golf.
Yeah, that 97 Masters wasn't just like a victory. That was a statement. Television ratings soared. I remember, Ben, actually the first day I ever played golf was that Sunday. It was the Sunday of that tournament. I remember watching him after we finished up. My boss had taken me out golfing. He loved to golf. Youth participation spiked because of this. Augusta National began making changes to the course so that the media later described as tiger proofing. They had to tiger proof the course. Tiger didn't simply dominate the Masters. The guy redefined the event's cultural and economic significance.
There it is, a win for the ages. Tiger Woods, in a moment like no one has ever seen at the Masters, shattering record after record after record. The green jacket will be on his shoulders in just a moment.
Tiger's impact on golf, the business, cannot be understated. Economists coined the term the Tiger effect to describe the financial surge that followed him joining the sport. Between 1997 and 2008, the PGA Tour prize money nearly tripled from $101 million to $292 million, thanks to this increased viewership, sponsorships, and global interests driven simply by Tiger's presence, much like, Kevin, the impact that Caitlin Clark had on the WNBA, and Jordan on the NBA, and Babe Ruth on baseball. Recap all the other important players that we've talked about on the podcast so far. Like, they've all had the same kind of effect on the sport.
Yeah. And it wasn't just the sport. It was Tiger also reshaped the equipment in the apparel industry. I think when he adopted the Titleist Pro version 1 ball, by the way, I'm not a golfer. So if it sounds like I don't know what a golf ball is, that's partially true. But I do know that became the top premium choice pretty much instantly just because Tiger had adopted that ball. I know Nike Golf transformed from basically an experiment that Nike was running into a $1 billion division, largely because of Tiger's credibility had just elevated the game and their brand so high. His swing, the speed, the athleticism, the power just forced equipment makers to innovate at a pace that they actually never even had to think about before.
From 2000 to 2001, Tiger produced one of the most dominant stretches in sports history, achieving, quote unquote, the Tiger Slam by holding all 4 major titles simultaneously. His 2000 U.S. Open victory at Pebble Beach, where he won by 15 strokes, remains the largest margin of victory in any major championship ever. It was a display of precision, mental control, and it left all of the competitors stunned.
Par 3-7, just a 106-yard hole. Lengthy birdie putt left for Tiger, and he nails it. Tiger moves to 2 under, still without a bogey on his card.
Wow.
Is this really happening? Is this really happening?
Play some golf, young man.
How about it? Oh, my goodness. You see that look of determination when that ball went in the hole?
And Tiger Woods is the 100th U.S. Open champion in history.
Yeah, that Tiger's 2000 season is still considered one of the greatest of any sport. He won 9 PGA Tour events, claimed 3 majors, and set a scoring average record of 68.17 strokes. Analysts compare that year to the best seasons from Jordan, who you mentioned, Serena Williams, Wayne Gretzky, Roger Federer, often concluding that Tiger's dominance reached a level that just transcended all comparison.
By the mid-2000s, Tiger had become a global cultural icon. His image appeared on the cover of Time magazine. His events attracted celebrities, corporate leaders, CEOs, and they helped broadcasters secure record-setting TV contracts. Tiger turned golf tournaments into must-watch entertainment events with a global impact.
Yeah, the Tiger brand, if you will, extended through tons of partnerships like Nike, Rolex, EA Sports, Gatorade, like so many others. His video game franchise sold more than 25 million units and helped introduce countless young athletes to the sport. And then meanwhile, his foundation, which focuses on education and like STEM, access for underserved youth, became one of the most respected institutions that was ever connected to a professional athlete.
Whenever I see the words EA Sports, it reminds me of the PlayStation starts up and they're like, EA Sports. Something like that. Yeah.
It's in the game.
It's nothing lasts forever, Grandpa always says. Injuries started to accumulate. Tiger had to display kind of another form of greatness, which we call reinvention. He had to reshape his swing several times. He went and studied biomechanics. He adapted his strategy to remain competitive as his body changed. His work ethic remained uncompromising, reflecting his belief that tomorrow could always be better than today.
Yeah, his 2018 Tour Championship victory became a watershed moment as thousands of fans followed him up that 18th fairway in a scene that instantly became iconic. But it was that 2019 Masters that cemented one of the greatest comebacks in sports history. At age 43, Tiger won his 5th Masters and 15th major, delivering a moment that resonated with fans across generations. The embrace with his children on the 18th green symbolizes both legacy and renewal.
Now the putt about the same size as the one he finished off in 97, more than a half a lifetime ago when he was 21, and he rewrote the record book at Augusta National that millions around the world had waited for years. Many doubted we'd ever see it, but here it is. The return to glory.
Tiger's record stands among the most impressive in sports history. 82 PGA Tour wins. He's tied for the most of all time. 15 major championships. 683 weeks as the number 1 golfer in the world, 11-time PGA Player of the Year, and 142 consecutive cuts made. These numbers reflect kind of consistency, excellence, dominance, persistence, like the making of what we study here on Cardboard Wars, legends.
Yeah, his influence just extends so far beyond trophies. Tiger modernized golf's athletic demands, diversified its audience, elevated its global appeal. Think of players like Rory McIlroy, Jordan Spieth, Colin Morikawa. I totally said this guy's name wrong. Scotty Scheffler. They all cite Tiger as their inspiration, right? He didn't just raise the bar. He built an entirely new bar at a different height that nobody had seen before. And he gave the generation that's great now, like the guys in their prime now, he gave these guys like something to shoot for. And we're seeing an all new level of play because of what Tiger brought to the sport worldwide.
And he goes down as one of the most influential athletes to ever live. This competitor is the person you think of when you think of golf. But when you think of golf cards, that happened, Kevin, a long, long time before Tiger Woods, didn't it?
Yeah, a long time before that. Like you can go all the way back to, quite frankly, you and I have talked about some pretty old cards on here. Like you can go all the way back to, I want to say, well, first of all, I know there was a set in 33 by Gowdy, not the first one. But there is cigarette cards, tobacco era cards, even earlier than 33, which is pretty crazy when you think about golf cards even being produced back then.
Yeah. For most of history, golf cards, the product, they kind of operated on the fringes of the hobby. The earliest releases, as Kevin mentioned, were printed by tobacco companies. Later sets in the 80s and 90s, that's when it first started getting some traction. And then when Tiger Woods showed up, he kind of transformed the entire segment of golf cards into mainstream.
Tiger entered golf like a force of nature, just like we talked about, reshaping everything in his path. Combination of the dominance, the charisma, that's the guy's smile, even the impact that he had turned him into one of the most celebrated athletes of all time. And for trading card companies, Tiger represented a generational opportunity to build an entire product category around a single superstar.
When I think of golf, Kevin, and golf cards, I think of one manufacturer. Who do you think of?
Oh, it's a company we've spoken of before. It's Upper Deck.
Upper Deck kind of seized that moment. In 2001, Upper Deck released a premium product with high-end photography, thoughtful design, quality materials, and it elevated any golf card that had ever been made to a new level. And it's also the year that is widely recognized as Tiger Woods' #1 rookie card. And it laid the foundation for the next product, which was the SP Authentic line that followed shortly after.
Yeah, Tiger didn't just boost the new releases, though. What he did, because he was such a force, is he revived interest in the past as well. So collectors began revisiting early legends like Bobby Jones and Walter Hagen, and the entire category gained a newfound respect. Manufacturers suddenly realized golf cards deserve the same premium treatment as baseball, basketball, football, you name it.
It wasn't just Upper Deck. Pro Set, before Upper Deck, in the early 1990s, started making PGA cards, and that was kind of the first mass market attempt to bring golf into the mainstream collecting for our hobby. The company expanded quickly into some more memorable sets before Pro Set ultimately collapsed. Their releases introduced players like John Daly to the hobby, who still remains a legend here today. But there was more, Kevin.
Absolutely. By the way, I would just like to shout out to the PGA Pro Set cards. I got a bunch of those sitting in my card room, buddy, that you and I drove back from California earlier this year. That it's kind of cool to go back and look at those. But as you said, Pro Set and Upper Deck, not the only ones. Donruss / Leaf kind of, they got involved. Leaf took like a high-end approach, trying to focus on limited autographs, creative memorabilia pieces, premium type of presentations. Their releases helped elevate kind of the non-Tiger golfers and demonstrated that golf could attract collectors beyond just the traditional base. They favored scarcity over volume, and that strategy paid off for them.
Panini never released kind of a full standalone golf product, but their multi-sport sets occasionally included some key golfers, kind of makes it desirable, and they're kind of supplements to the Tiger heavy Upper Deck era. But let's go back even further in time to some of the first companies you mentioned.
Yeah, when you go all the way back to the 20s and 30s, companies like WD and H.O. Willis and Gallagher produced small. And by the way, again, I want to restate this. I don't want to be missed. These are cigarette companies. These are tobacco companies that are creating golf cards back in the 20s and 30s. And these early issues, they weren't designed for collectors initially because, again, they were like inserts into tobacco, but they've become historically significant. Most individual cards somehow remain somewhat affordable, yet they represent some of the earliest preserved golf imagery on the planet.
At the National Card Show or at Fanatics Fest or some of the bigger card shows in the United States, which you will find Kevin Rips, Ben Ripping, Bob Ripping, M46, Jake, all of our co-hosts and friends were at those shows. So look us up and come say hi. You'll walk around and some booths will just have some of these old cards that are filled with movie stars and hey boo boo, Yogi, and golf and boxing, wrestling. There's some pretty cool antique cards that you can pick up for a couple $100, and I always grab one or two to add to my vintage collection. But now let's talk about some of the more impactful and valuable cards ever created in the golf category. Kevin and I made a list of what we consider to be the top 10. And you can add your own or reach out to us and tell us what we missed for sure. But I'll start with number 10, Kevin, and we'll count this one down. 1991 Pro Set, the John Daly rookie in a PSA 10, probably one of the top 10 most valuable golf cards ever created. Key kind of John earns a spot for his cultural influence, not necessarily just the value, but high grade examples sell for decent amounts for sure.
Yeah. Fun story. Bob's Rippin shared a story with me about following John Daly at a tournament. And it is quite that guy was quite the character, is quite the character. So there's no doubt he had to be on our list. Coming in at number 9, though, it's going to be the first of many times we hear the name Tiger again. You got the SP Authentic, quote, sign of the times, Tiger Woods autograph. It's an early Tiger autograph, and it's beloved for its clean layout, the on-card signature. I mean, high-grade copies routinely sell in the low to mid 4-figure range. It's a cornerstone Tiger card with an auto that remains consistently in high demand.
Number 8, produced in 1932 by Will's Cigarettes, we have a Bobby Jones card. One of the most influential golfers of all time. High grade copies can reach multi-thousands of dollars. And it's just a beautiful card. Do yourself a favor and look it up.
Yeah. Next, number 7. I referenced this earlier. 33 Gaudy Sports King Walter Hagen. Walter's card is from that iconic Sports King set, and it's a key piece in pre-war golf history. You know, again, you find some of the higher graded examples of that card. You're gonna land in the mid like thousands of range. It's a favorite for those who specialize in vintage and multi-sport. Exactly what's right up your alley, as you just mentioned a few moments ago.
In fact, coming in number 6 are really any Wills or tobacco era golf stars like Varden. Most of these Wills and Gallagher cards sell for tens to low hundreds of dollars, depending on condition. Some of them in the multiple thousands when you get the PSA 10s. Number 5, another interesting card, Kevin. Upper Deck Golf 2001 Tiger Woods card number 1 in a PSA 10 has some value.
Most important about that card though is it's widely regarded as like that's his rookie card, right? That's a staple card, and it's recognizable. If you're a golf fan, you're a collector, you've got a copy of that card. Right after that, we got another Tiger card, buddy. It's the 96 Sports Illustrated for Kids Tiger Woods card, right? It's perforated, so it's really tough to grade. But the reality is like it's pretty rare. There is one reported sale that I found on multiple searches that hit a peak sale of a PSA 10 in that card. By the way, I can't even imagine getting a PSA 10 in that card, of a perforated cutout card that reached $369,000. Remains one of the most surprising and one of the most desirable modern golf cards.
Coming in number 3 for the most impactful, important golf cards of all time, not necessarily most valuable, is a 1933 Gaudy Sports Kings Bobby Jones card. Second time's Bobby made our list. This is kind of the premier vintage golf card, kind of the crown jewel of these kind of pre-war era cards. PSA 9 cards sell in the 30,000 range, but it's the artwork and the historical significance and scarcity that kind of make it so valuable to us collectors.
Yeah. Another Tiger Woods SP Authentic Autograph Rookie, numbered to only 900. Came out in 2001. I mean, it's another one of his early autographs, which there wasn't a ton of back then, right? And it's a very definitive, very cornerstone card for golf collectors, Tiger collectors. It's people who want a piece of history in the golf world. Like, this is really high on the list. We've seen some of these in a PSA 10 sell for well into the 6 figures, right? And the reality is even just the higher grades, but below PSA 10, even those consistently hold mid 5-figure values. Like, it's one of the most important golf cards ever produced.
And nice to see a numbered version, as really Upper Deck kind of started that entire process in that era. The number 1 all-time most important, valuable golf card as measured by the experts here at Cardboard Wars, which might get you a ride on a bus if you had an extra 35 cents in your pocket. Kevin and I are declaring the number 1 most important golf card of all time, the 2001 SP Authentic Stars Insert Tiger Woods Gold, numbered to 100 in a PSA 10, last sold $369,000. There's been quite a few important cards that have sold. There was a numbered to 25 sold in September of 2025. It was the 2001 Upper Deck Players Inc. autograph gold Tiger Woods, as I said, in a PSA 10 and numbered to 25. Ladies and gentlemen, don't underestimate the importance and value of golf cards going forward into the future. In fact, some of your best opportunities for future grails might be in some of these alternative sports like golf and tennis, etc. Anything you would kind of wrap up today about collecting or Tiger Woods or golf cards in general, Kevin?
You know, that last point that you just made, I want to emphasize that. You know, a lot of times people feel maybe priced out of some of the grail cards in the four major sports, and watching what happened with golf. Number one, if you're a golf fan and you're a collector, it's an easy match. But also to go, hey, as we're seeing other sports grow, like you and I recently did an episode on WNBA, and we start to see these new leagues and players pop up with popularity. I think looking at like Tiger's legacy and golf cards and kind of what's happened there is kind of a blueprint for like, hey, maybe I can spot some trends here that happened over here in golf might be happening in this other sport. And so being able to pick up some future grails that aren't necessarily just baseball, basketball, football, pretty good opportunity.
Yeah. Take the time to try to go source a box of 2001 Upper Deck golf cards and hit your own Tiger Woods rookie. You can still find boxes, ones without guaranteed autos, in the few $100 range, and then learn from people like Tiger Woods. He was quoted saying some pretty impactful statements. He said, "The hardest thing to do in sports is to repeat. Anyone can win once." He said, you have to be dedicated. You have to be willing to sacrifice and put in the work. Days when you are not motivated are the days you must push the hardest. He was also quoted once saying, "I smile at obstacles and never listen to anyone who says you cannot do something." Ladies and gentlemen, this is Cardboard Wars. We talk about the history and lives of the most impactful athletes from around the world. We talk about the manufacturers of the cards, the brands and products, the values, the sports they play. We're bringing together history to the hobby, and it would mean the world to us if you would take the time to make a post online on the Instagram or Facebooks or wherever you cruise and mention Cardboard Wars. Give us a tag at Ben Ripping or Kevin Rips. Give us a review on Apple or on YouTube. It would mean the absolute world to us. And the next time you're going to a major card show, track us down and say hi. See you next time.
Thanks for listening to Cardboard Wars on the Rippin' Podcast Network. Don't forget to leave a rating and review and check out rippin.com to get connected to what we have coming up. Find us on Instagram and let us know what you would like to hear about on a future episode of Cardboard Wars. Until next time, keep rippin'.